AI robots may outnumber workers in a few decades as firms ramp up investment. Okay, AI robots? Yes, folks. AI robots. So what is the world going to look like? Okay, so AI robots will exceed the working population within a few decades as more firms adopt AI agents and continue to squeeze costs. Our former city executive warned on Monday. Rob Garlick, City Global Insights, former head of innovation, technology, and future of work, told CNBC the following. Is this him, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Go for it.
We're going to go over the next couple of decades to more moving robots than working population. And then you add on agents, digital agents, and it is going to explode. So we will go from less than 1% of working population to more than the working population with non-human workers. And you do this cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And just as an example on that aha moment, if you don't mind.
No, of course.
When we looked at robots, we had 9 different forms, of which humanoids are the most difficult and the most sort of far out there. But you can already buy a humanoid today, which gives you a payback period versus human workers of less than 10 weeks. Humans can't compete on this basis. And so and we're only just embarking on this phase.
Brandon.
Payback meaning like they can work in return on like the money you spent on them. Yeah, it's insane. So, I mean, I've been saying it for a long time. I think whoever creates the first fleet of robots is going to be a threat to national security because it's going to be the most powerful military in the world. You know, if you have 100,000 robots that could run faster than you, that could, jump higher, that could shoot with precision, that could fight, that are almost indestructible, how's that not the most powerful military in the world? And I mean, it's going to be a private company that creates that first, probably Tesla. So I don't know. What do we do about that? It's going to come with, just like the Palantir stuff. It'll have its benefits. The economy will be more productive. Things will be cheaper. We'll have deflationary innovation. But I mean, there's always the risk of the person who creates them wanting to, take over blocks of land or take over the country or do malicious things with it. So yeah, it's a bittersweet thing. But yeah,
how excited are you about robots?
Well, I have to say, my wife and I were talking yesterday. It'd be nice to have a robot do our dishes. But I think everything Brendan said's, very scary about the military applications. I'm wondering if we'll soon hear that we need a robots union or something like that. But no, I mean, I don't know how fast it'll happen. There's questions of materials. I think these things tend to get hyperbolic. But in general, AI and automation on jobs is just huge. There's a big debate in the elite economics community about, is it actually ultimately really productivity enhancing, makes us all richer, or is it throwing us out of a lot of jobs? And I worry much more, at least for the next 10 years, about just massive job loss among white collar workers, very good jobs, middle income jobs, just disappearing. And I think that's part of why the stock market's going up so much. Companies see they can do more for less. Less of what? Less workers. And I certainly see it with my students, other young people. The number of jobs is thinning out. They're not quick to fire the existing workers, but it's slowing down. But anyway, what Brendan said about the military applications, that is really scary, of robots, of AI, of drones, things that we see as movies right now, Star Wars and things may just be here in our children's lifetime, if not in ours.
Wow. How long have you been teaching at Harvard?
I've been teaching at Harvard 26 years. 26
years. So 26 years. This is 1900 and what is it? 1990.
And I'm not a young man. I've been teaching longer than that at other places.
So, but how from teaching in 1990 to today at Harvard, the best of the best, brilliant minds, young kids coming here that are probably the best in their class, whatever high school they went to. What are you noticing? Concerns, language, patterns of what they want to do next? What they used to say they want to do that they're no longer wanting to do, what job, trajectory, career planning, what patterns are you noticing?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, one of the things it just took me a long time to learn is every class is different. You think you taught the class just a year ago. You think you know the kids, what their, cultural issues are, what jokes you can make, what you can say, what they'd understand. And it just changes so fast. So it's hard to make like a generalization about it, but actually, I mean, the very young generation coming up is actually rebelling against what you would think of the classic college students. They're, very motivated. They, don't feel, I think, as entitled as maybe a generation did for a long time. So I think it's actually kind of a good sign about young people that I'm seeing. But, it goes in waves. It's hard to make a generalization. But on the whole, they're amazing. I mean, it's an incredible privilege to teach at one of our great universities.
Tom, your thoughts on robots?
So I think this gentleman was wrong. He's sitting there saying 2 decades. It's not 2 decades. I see what's going to be happening in 36 months, and I also see what's going to be happening in 7 years. And the two gaps that not gaps, but the reason I carve it that way is because there is a lot of material, battery, and a lot of things that's needed in these exotic materials. And the demand for the humanoid robots is going to be very great very suddenly. However, don't look at the humanoid robots. Just go and find a video of the robotic attendants that run around Amazon distribution centers. These are robots that can carry 300 pounds, and it looks like just a little square box with wheels on it. But it knows where it is. It knows where it's going. It goes and picks stuff up, and it runs around. You go, there they are, Amazon distribution centers. They're moving around there. They're picking things up. This is robotics. And this means, there it is, the little orange guy at the bottom. He can carry like 300-400 pounds. And so he goes and he picks this up and puts it over there, takes this over here, and there's no people in that distribution center doing this part of it, and all those products are ending up in cardboard boxes that say Amazon with a receipt coming to you and me, in some cases in an hour. And so this is robotic technology taking warehouse jobs. You go back there, Rob, you see all the little blue ones that were running there all on the floor? Yep, you don't need humanoids doing this. That's what people think of robotics. What you really have is you've got all of these things and tasks that warehouse workers used to do being replaced by robot. There's a robot arm just doing it. Pickers and everything. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. There they go. There's those little blue ones running around, handing things to each other. And so these are warehouse jobs going away, and it's not the green guy with the headlights. What it is all of the things that warehouse workers used to do being done. This is robotics at work. So in 3 years, you're going to have the humanoid demand runs into a problem because they need batteries, they need lithium, they need all this thing, they can't get it. It's the same problem as EVs need the same kind of things, and defense needs the same kind of things. Now, 7 years, that's where I see the cataclysmic effect on certain white-collar work. And that's where you have AI that makes the robot go, now creating replicants. That's the word for it. You teach skills to a replicant, and then the replicant does those things for you. Analysis, financials, close the books, reconcile a credit card statement. All that happens automated. So 7 years, you're going to see the beginning of a cataclysmic effect as AI has the impact on white-collar work. But in 3 years, you're going to see all these stories about how much more of these raw materials we need to build the robots. And it's not all the humanoid robots, but that's going to be part of it. People see the humanoid robots and freak out. I look at the Amazon distribution center and I say, that's today.
I mean, and so the union is probably going to push you to go robotic and AI even faster, because these machines can run 24/7. They can work at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, nonstop, 24 hours. Maybe you got to come and lube it up, or, give it something that it needs, but it keeps going. Calling in sick, your mechanic comes in, fixes it, they're back at it again. You don't need to pay them health insurance. You don't need to pay them 401k. They don't want benefits. You simply buy one and they go do the work. That's scary to the average person when they hear that.
The UAW has tried to limit assembly line automation. And there are certain things that happen on assembly line for cars as they come down where there's welds. And the automakers found out that the robotic arm made more accurate welds, and you eliminated certain safety concerns with the human sitting there doing the welds. And you saw these large arms that would go out and do these things on the assembly line. The UAW freaked out, and they were trying to put clauses in their collective bargaining agreements that said you could not replace more than X assembly line workers a year or per 2 years or duration of contract. And they were trying to limit it. And meanwhile, the automakers are, well, I could run that line doing the, and Rob, you can find these pictures of it, doing the welds of the skeleton of the car. I could run those 24 hours a day, and I could have all those things set up. And the UAW was trying to limit it, to your point.
I mean, the thing a lot of economists have argued is you should at least tax it. Like, people have to pay Social Security. Robots do not have to pay Social Security. How do you balance that out so that when someone's looking at what to invest in, what technology they should go to, they think about that problem?
What do you mean by at least tax it?
Well, you can tax profits more, you can tax capital gains more, not necessarily specifically the robot we're seeing in the Amazon factory.
If it goes this direction, and what's national debt right now, Rob?
36 or 37.
I thought it was higher than that, but okay, let's just say 36, 37 trillion. And you know, I saw a number the other day that the national debt could, I thought it was 39 trillion. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So 39 trillion. And
40 by Christmas.
You saw the number, that said within, just type in national debt, 60 trillion could be, it ratio was shown of 102, 103%, 108%. In 10 years, U.S. government will have $55 to $60 trillion national debt, which will be 7 to 7.5 times our revenue, because there will be $25 to $30 trillion of additional borrowing. That amounts to about $425,000 of debt per family.
It's under 120 today, 120,000 right now.
Well, Tom, this may be something they got to get to quickly because, one, on the company's end, companies are going to do what's going to be more efficient. Mm-hmm. You're going to do what you're going to do to be more efficient, right? Unions going to push them to work even faster. Profits is going to get them to go. But then if any society with a lot of people with idle time is not a safe society. So you have to be thinking about that as well. So is that going to be transitioning into a new job? Are people going to be doing new things? Nowadays, when we get people that come in, I got a young guy that came in applying for a job, 23 years old from New York, who everything he does is with AI, and you're looking at it and said, okay, this is very impressive what this guy got going on. I'm talking to Joe yesterday. He's talking about how there's this nerds competition of engineering that this guy won, and so this is where they recruit from, bring in that guy in 18, 19, 20 years old. They're getting signing bonuses of $1 million, $5 million to go to a company. You can choose to take it as cash or as stock because you believe what direction the company is going to. So they still are aggressively recruiting these young guys that are coming in. But what will be replaced, where that, we've had this conversation before on what inventions cause people to go to a different job. But this is not, this is slightly different though.
Yeah.
This is slightly different. This isn't like TV replacing newspaper or internet replacing TV, or, this is someone can do your job better than you. As an economist yourself, okay, how much does Claude or ChatGPT, when you run the reports, how much faster and better can they do their job than you right now?
Well, they can all do it better than me now, but that's a different matter.
Can you comfortably say that?
I mean, there are things, if I look at, write down my test questions and have any of them give me an answer, it's pretty darn good. Or an essay question, I think I can do it a little better, but, no, it's amazing where it's going. It's a big debate. So you can find Nobel Prize winning economists who say that it's just going to be terrible, a lot of jobs are getting lost, and others who say that it's nirvana. I'm certainly more in the camp of like what Tom is saying, that, near term, it isn't going to be a pretty picture. It's going to cost a lot of jobs. And that's another reason to slow it down. We have to, as you say, it's not a stable society where lots of people have lost their jobs, where they don't feel hope. President Trump, in part, got elected by playing on that theme with manufacturing. That's nothing compared to what's going on with other kinds of jobs, which are a much bigger part of the economy that's coming down the pike. And so, finding ways, how are we going to tax these new agents? How are we going to, create balance? How are we going to give people agency in their life? Big questions, good reason to slow it down.
All right, so I'll take a different take. So maybe this is the way that American manufacturing comes back, because it's even with the best tariffs in the world or an aggressive plan, it's impossible to compete with other countries that could pay far less than us with what we would have to pay American workers here. So if America is the first to have factories like this that have AI mass producing products, then maybe that's a way for our manufacturing to come back in a superpower type of way.
But not necessarily jobs.
No, but bear with me. So every 100 years, like half the job market gets wiped out by new technology, right? So, it was with agriculture, with factories, with the internet. So we don't know what the jobs are going to be yet, but there probably will be needs and services that we do need that we aren't even thinking of right now that become new jobs. There probably will be a lag effect with how fast AI is going, where there's a couple of years where there isn't enough jobs, but I'm sure the needs will surface because, it just has every other time, right?
But this is really fast, though.
That's the problem, yeah.
So that's the scary part. If this was unfolding slowly over 100 years, I think we would just think it was progress, but it's the speed that scares people.
Yeah.
Different types of sales leaders I've worked with the last 20 years. One of them are those that are a boss, that are telling you what to do. One of them is one that wants to be a friend. He wants to say, hey, Johnny, let me help you get to this next level. And then the other one is the leader that's sitting down with you, accountable, challenge, pushing you. You can do more, expectation, business planning. Each one of them has pros and blind spots. Once a year, I host an event called the Sales Leadership Summit. This year, we're doing it at the beautiful Trump Doral, March 25th through the 27th, where we talk about topics like this, 200 plus pages in a manual with people from around the world. You have to do a minimum of $1 million a year and 5 salespeople to qualify to attend this. So if you're someone that's watching and saying, I think I'm like a boss, I think I'm like a friend, I think I'm a leader, I want to find my blind spots, click on a link below, fill out the information. One of our consultants will get a hold of you.
Click on a link. I do believe the executive tickets have sold out, but there's 2 other tier tickets for those that want to find out about it. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.